rewatched it.
So your star is shining bright. That's what we're saying.
He's the number one guy in the group, is what you're saying?
One guy in the group. You've done it.
I would never, ever. That line to me was so cringy when I heard it.
So cringe. So cringe. But now it's iconic. You know, I think there's a fine line between cringy and iconic.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yes. Well,
Maybe
Austen,
so.
we want to thank you for taking the time to be with us.
This background. I'm like, can't find a good one. I can't. I'm trying. Is it better than before?
No, that's good.
It's better. It's not as blown out, but
Okay.
I will never forget at the Murdaugh trial, which I went to, at the Murdaugh trial, right behind where everyone sat in the box when they were being, like on the stand. The thermostat was right there, and they always set it to 69. And I'm not mature enough for that. I'm not mature enough to watch someone go up there to try to, acquit themselves of a double murder, and then I still see a 69 and
over their shoulder.
I just get
Miranda. Not many people are mature enough to handle that. To be totally honest. So
okay, good.
You are not alone.
Could we not make it 68 or 70?
No.
This is the one they decided.
Someone knew what they were doing. They did it on purpose.
Of course they did.
Okay, so you're
and they're geniuses.
I know, and they're geniuses because look, we're still talking about it.
Yeah,
so
of course.
All these months later.
Yeah. Okay, so how's Colorado?
So we went to a family wedding in Copper Mountain. My cousin grew up going there, and it was wonderful. I mean, I feel like having a wedding in the mountains in the summer, I mean, it's still summer, to be honest, and is like a cheat code, right? Because no matter what, man, everyone leaves and they're like, that was so beautiful. It was so gorgeous. Right. And that's what we're all saying. That's what we're all saying. We're like, it was stunning and beautiful. And like, it doesn't matter if like something went wrong. People are like, oh my gosh, people during the day, we sat on a patio and drank beers and had this beautiful sky and, the air was crisp. And so it was lovely. And then we made our way down to Denver because Katie and I have been talking for months about going to Red Rocks.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so we're going to Red Rocks tonight. And so last night we went to a Rockies game, and tonight we're going to Red Rocks.
Okay, I have to say, the Rockies game I saw on your stories, you posted that hot dog, and as someone who lives for a baseball hot dog,
sure,
you had leveled up with that one. I don't know, was that a sauerkraut?
It was a sauerkraut,
and maybe some onion on there.
I know you like a raw onion. Do you like raw onion, Austen?
That was a loaded dog, and I do like onions. Yes.
Thank you.
And it was sauerkraut and onions, and then I put some mustard on it.
Yes. Okay. Gosh, that was
and that thing. Once again, Miranda, I know that we're not old enough to not think that it's funny to talk about like a foot long, but that thing was a foot long wiener. Yeah,
it was a foot long wiener, and we talk a lot about food on our podcast. We talk about it as though it's sex, and it's so good. We just and so. We're not using our usual soundboard, but if we were, we would hit the Taco Bell bell.
We have the Taco Bell bell when we talk about food. So I can insert that into this moment.
Let's just say dong like that.
Because we were all about that dong hot dog.
The dong.
Wow. Pun intended. I might have, I have to say that I love y'all's background.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's super cute. And we also have a soundboard. And Craig just kind of, and like, he doesn't remember which button is which. And so he'll be like, wah, 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 when it's supposed to be like, and I'm like, oh, man. So yes. It's like clapping when it's supposed to be, sad, or like it's sad when it's supposed to be happy. And so we're, and I'm like, one day we'll figure it out. We'll figure out our soundboard.
Anytime. We are happy to come down, and I can put in custom sounds into your soundboard for you.
And you can label them all.
And label it. Yeah.
That's what we have to do, is label it. We just have to label it. What is happening over there?
You're like, oh, that's it. That will figure it out. A label. And then
a label.
Yeah. This is anytime we say all that to say, we hit the bell. But
someone guys have it figured out.
You think, but then someone rang the doorbell at the same time, which made me cry. And then I was like, what is happening? What is happening?
We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah. We're just, we're getting through
it. Join the club.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to tell people how you and I first met.
Yes. This is important.
to lead us off here into this interview, but I was hired by Harris Teeter to run a 10K. I was paid very nicely to run a 10K for Harris Teeter. And they told me that part of my obligations were going to be to go down to Charleston for the run. And at the expo, I was going to be at the Trop Pop booth with Austen. So he could have his appearances, take the babies, kiss the people, you know, as a president does. And I was just going to be slinging his beer.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I went on my story the day before on the way down to Charleston and was like, part of my contractual obligations is that I have to go hang out with Austen Kroll from Southern Charm. And I know we're not big fans of him. I know how we feel about him and how he does these girls dirty and the Sierra of it all and the this and the that. And then I didn't expect you when I met you that night to then watch my stories and hear what I said.
Well, to not only be so lovely, but then to get tipped off that she had some stories that had not expired.
Yeah. So, you know, Harris Teeter, we love us some Harris Teeter.
Yes.
And we love us some Dana as well. And she was like, Miranda, you know, she's a fan of Bravo and this and that. And then she was like, and then right in front of you, she was like, let's just watch her stories. And Miranda was just sitting there like, I mean, foot in mouth, like, wait, let's skip that one.
Yeah, I was like, maybe they expired by now. Maybe the Wi-Fi, thank God the Wi-Fi is terrible in Charleston.
Yeah.
Right,
it was shoddy.
And
it
so
was shoddy,
it was breathing. He was trying to watch them and he's like, wait a minute, so I'm having to watch Austen watch me.
Yeah.
Talk about him in a not so nice way. And the reason why I finally caught to it all was that after being with you for a couple hours, I said, oh God, this guy's actually nice.
He's a good guy. And you said at the event that Austen was so kind to all the fans, didn't have a bad word to say about anybody.
Nope. What I was most impressed by with you, Austen, is that people were coming up to you over and over and over. Can I talk to you? Can I get a picture? I love you. I love the show. I think you're so funny. La, 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 la. And you would walk away and kind of go into the tent. And at no point did I hear you say, oh God, could you believe that girl or her? God, she was, you just seemed genuinely happy to have people there, to have them trying the beer, to have them say hi to you. And I didn't get a sense that you've become jaded by any of this or that that you are kind of taking it for granted. I haven't gotten that sense from you in the little bit of time I've spent with you. And I was wrong. And I'm woman enough to say that.
Yeah. Good for you.
Oh, well, thank you for saying all of those kind words. And that means a lot. And I think that it's funny when I meet someone who loves Bravo, you know, such as yourself. And I'm like, oh, you mean that Summer House gave me a bad edit because I'm not a main cast member? No, like jaw on the floor. Guffaw? What?
Okay, but how much can we blame the edit and how much can we say?
That's literally
no. I had shitty behavior. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it was a summer in my life, which if I'm being totally honest, and I love you guys. I really don't want to talk about that summer much because like it's so far in my past and there's so many more like exciting things that are, you know, to come and to happen. But that was just like a summer of my life when I was newly single and I thought that like, yes, you know, hot boy summer. And it was like the first time that I was getting out of like a relationship that I probably shouldn't have been in the first place for as long as I was. Yes. And like, I was like, right. And so, you know, you saw the fallout and that was something that like I had to look in the mirror hard after that, you know, after all that stuff, you know, came out on TV because most people don't get to see their shitty weekend. It's like they get to forget like a shitty weekend and move on with just like a day of like Sunday scaries or Monday. And you're like, let's forget that. And then you're like, oh my God, 6 months later, it's about to pop back up and you have to watch it and people get to watch it. And so I was like, oh my gosh. So that was like a big, you know, learning moment in my life, to be honest. So I'm not saying that the edit is 100%. I did those actions, right? So that's happened. But
how do you feel since the show began, since you've been on the show? Do you feel that your edit over the years has been pretty true to who you are, that you watch it back and you're like, yeah, that's me, that's my personality?
Look, I don't want to say I probably shouldn't have opened that like I should not have let the cat out of the bag, or opened up that Pandora's box by mentioning the edit, right? Because that's like the number one thing that like we're not supposed to mention.
But we wonder.
Not supposed to mention edits and things like that. And
breaking
it's like
the fourth wall of it is what
and
it's such a big part of it is the producers really hold everything in their hands, right? The editors, producers, because you can. I mean, we always talk about to the point a little bit. We always talk about how we're so grateful that we're just old enough that we didn't grow up with cell phones during our dumbest years.
Yeah.
So our high school and college,
right.
We didn't have video evidence of that. We don't have photographic evidence. Well, we have a little bit of photographs,
a little bit,
but really not the video. And I would never want to go back and watch that again of myself. And I'm sure Kristen has moments of that as well. Yet you have signed up to be on this show to do just that. But still, you're like, wait, I was drunk. I don't remember that. Oh God. I can imagine that there's so much that, or it's just taken out of context. I could say a whole sentence, and if you took 4 words from it, it would sound really terrible, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
But not to talk about too much of how the sausage is made, but like sometimes you'll see something to you talking to somebody else about something completely different, and then they make it seem like you were talking like about me, and I'm like, whoa! I was not talking about her or him in that moment. And anyways, that makes
sense. That makes sense, and I hope that people watch with some discernment. We are still being bamboozled.
I mean, look.
Well, they're producing a television show. We need to be entertained. Entertain me.
Well, look, I am a person that can't help myself, so I'll always kind of provide some sort of nonsense for you to be entertained with, because I quite literally cannot help myself, which is what I've learned. So then when I went to Winter House for season 2, I was like, Austen, you're not doing shit. Stop it. And so what I did was I brought Ambien, because I was like, Austen, when 10 o'clock hits, take the Ambien and go to sleep. Little did I know that Ambien is worse. And it makes you like a walking zombie.
All you have to do is ask one single person.
I didn't ask one single person.
And instead he goes, I've got a great idea.
I mean, I don't know why I tried to get cute and fancy with it. I don't know why I tried to get cute and fancy with it. Like, what I should have done was just take like Tylenol, PM, and just gone right. And so like at 10 o'clock at night, right. And I was like, okay, we're filming, the party. And once the party's done and everyone's kind of like, drifting off, you don't need to walk into someone's room and sit down and gossip. Like, just take your shit and go to bed. But instead I took Ambien and wandered like around.
Yeah, we'll give you some trazodone next time we see you. That's really the key. Yeah. But speaking, I want to ask about the themed parties real quick.
Oh yes.
On Summer Winter House, the themed parties. So do y'all create the themes? Do you come up with it and then production gives them, a ton of money to order all of the stuff from Amazon? We see the amount of packages.
Yeah, the boxes.
Or are they like, we're going to do a hoedown, we're going to do a 70s party, we're going to do this, and how does that all really work?
I mean, I was on Winter House, and yes, I did go somewhere, and so I don't know completely, like that's not my realm, but so they'll be like, all right, Austen, like you're coming into the house, and we think that you should do some party of like atonement, for last year kind of thing. Like, what do you think? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I dressed up as, the Pope? And then they're like, great. And what if Kyle dressed up as a, and so then like I send out, the invite, and I'm like, okay, come as dressed as like a sinner or like a priest or, whatever. And let's do that, start a party. So I did that. I did that one party, but like the way that they're able to like sustain and do those parties, like it is exhausting when I did it at Winter House, because it wasn't, weekends. It was every single day. And they were like, let's do a party there, a party here. And I was like, I'm out of ideas, guys. I am fresh out of ideas. Like, I don't know. So it is impressive.
I know that y'all are a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Not Shep. But I know that,
I'm not young anymore. I'm 36 years old now, Miranda.
How do they drink every
Night
day,
after
night after night after night? They don't wake up struggling all that much and then go right into the next party and right into, I'm just too old. I get it.
I'm waiting for a Bravo celebrity on one of these shows to release a product for hangovers. I mean, again, Austen, if you want to take that idea,
interesting.
We're just a 10% fee if you want to use that.
Obviously, 10%.
I'm just saying, y'all are partying and drinking so much, but still surviving the next day somehow.
We need to
release the product so that the rest of us can do it.
What is the secret? We need to.
Oh man. I mean, I think it's a pretty, simple answer. I think it's just that
cocaine.
The devil's lettuce.
No, devil's lettuce is the opposite, for me.
I jumped him on cocaine.
just practice. I don't know. It sounds terrible to say, but it's like a few of us are just built like machines when it comes to drinking. But when I left Winter House, season 2, I just remember that I was like that is too much. That was a fun vacation and fun to get away and drink with friends and things like that, but the trip lasts about 10 days longer than you want it to, and then you're you get back and you're like, that is not the way that you're supposed to be operating in life. You're not supposed to be drinking like this. You're too old to be doing this. So it definitely made me take that back.
Juice cleanse and a sweat lodge.
Yeah, maybe just install a sauna at home. Sweat all that.
No. Of course. And now a sauna and cold bath is a part of my regular
routine.
Every day when I'm in town, I'm like, yes.
Okay.
I love it.
How long are you sitting in there? How long are you sitting in?
3 minutes.
Just 3, and I try to do it four times a week so that it averages up to 12 minutes. And they say that if you get 12 minutes of cold plunge, then it increases, your dopamine levels by 110%. And I'm like, in this business and in all this stuff, just increasing your dopamine levels is crucial. So I now, I go to the gym, which Craig, Shep, and I have a trainer, and our group chat is called Biceps for Bravo. And that's the title.
That's the title. Thank you for just giving the title.
And shout out to Swoley Mammoth, our trainer and great friend.
Man.
Our trainer and great friend. And so we go in there, and it's a nice little escape. And then I jump in the sauna, the infrared for 25 minutes, and then the cold for 3. And it's just it's something that I look forward to when I'm back in Charleston and I have a full week at home, and I'm like, yes, let me go here and not really drink as much, because I'm in Colorado, and last night I ate a foot-long glizzy. I feel like shit today.
Yeah, you had the glizzy, you partied. You're gonna go party tonight, I'm assuming.
And I'm going to Flume tonight. I mean, we're not gonna take drugs, of course not.
Of course not. No. If I know anything about you, it's that you do not like drugs, especially at Red Rocks, and especially.
Don't say it like that I love drugs. Don't say it like that. I just
follow you. I have eyes. But you do look good, Austen. You do. You look good. We just saw you stand up.
Thank you.
A full body shot. I got it out from knee, crotch, up to chest and head. You look good.
Yeah, you look
refreshed. Thank you. And it's it feels good to. Geez, I mean, all of a sudden, I'm telling you guys about my fitness journey, but it's just a way.
She's in the fitness journey.
Okay, good.
To the Wellness by Austen brand that we're building here today.
Yeah, look.
Wellness by Austen. He's gonna do a hangover patch cure.
Oh my gosh! All of a sudden, I know.
He's going to release a cold plunge tank or something.
He could release mocktails.
Mocktails? Yeah, you could do that and say,
I think
a wellness mocktail. Just saying.
I just think that it's important because when I do, the routine that I just told you, it's just it makes me feel a sense, in such a crazy existence that, we live in, right? Where I don't have a typical, 9 to 5. It's you got to have, a certain like structure when you're at home,
you have
and
to
it's
have
like
some discipline, because you're
yes,
a lot of people, their job inherently provides them from 8 to 5. You don't drink, you don't do any of this, you don't go hang out with people, you like it kind of creates a structure for them. So for someone like you, or even us, we don't have traditional jobs either. It can almost feel like, well, we can fill this time with anything, and why not party? Why not?
Sure. Oh my
we
gosh,
have husbands
it's
and
so
kids to help.
tough. It's so tough. Where I mean, I'm sure for me, and for someone that has kids, you're like, it's 4:00. A glass of wine sounds pretty damn good about now, right? And it's like, no, hold off, Austen. Like, hold off until that sports game comes on, and then have your first drink. But it can be tough. It's like, I'm in Denver right now, and like I'm gonna go to lunch, and I love craft beer. Like, I'm gonna have to get a beer, with lunch, like that. And so it's like, this time and like this part of travel in my life is like not real life, right? It's like almost like I can't wait to get back to Charleston. So I can cold plunge again, which is wild because I hate the cold. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it, but
your body's starting to crave it.
Yes.
My body is starting to crave working out, and I never ever thought that I would be that person.
And that's the secret. And that's the secret, by the way. And and look, not that I'm some fitness junkie, but like, if you just go like, once a week, then like you'll forget about it. But if you go, then like you'll start to crave the fact that you haven't gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the whole thing.
Well, look at us. We have to talk about Bravo, but we're really fitness girlies and boys.
Well, that's how a podcast should go, because we should just be bonding and having fun together. And that's what I try to do on ours, at least. I mean, Craig and I are like, let's not try to, pillows and beer, guys. If you guys want to, hang out with some other besties that like to laugh and to poke fun at each other and at themselves, then Pillows and Beer is a podcast for you. So obviously, all that to say, and Pillows and Beer after that, and you'll laugh with Craig and I, and we like to have on guests, but we like to hang out with them, and like we almost forget to interview them, and then I'm like, wait, shit, Craig, we have to ask them this, and he's like, oh yeah, right.
Oh, we have a whole list, but I'm like, we're just gonna riff it. We're gonna riff it. That's what makes it better. But we do have a few things that we at least have to ask you contractually. Contractually, and that is about the upcoming season. So we know it's launching Thursday, September 14th at 9,
probably 9.
8 p.m.
8 p.m. Ooh.
No, wait. No, it is 9, because I'm going to be in Central Time for 8. Yeah, so it is 9.
Yes, he's very good about the time zones.
Time zones. Yeah, you are. You understand time.
Yeah, you do. There's multiple months, and then we subtract. So good job, Austen, on that.
Thank you.
Check. But so it's coming out Thursday, and the trailer was so freaking good.
It's a fire trailer. We just watched it again. And you're the star of the trailer, Austen. You are the star.
Which that's not a good thing.
No, one of the first things out of your mouth is Madison.
Which, by the way,
iconic.
I didn't shriek it like that, though. I just kind of said her name, and
you said it this time, but the first time was so funny, and I totally missed the part. So I did a road trip this summer with my family. We went to Madison, Wisconsin. As we were driving up towards the Capitol building, I said, we're in Madison, Wisconsin. And if you don't say it the way Austen Kroll did when he walked out of that bedroom, then are you really a Bravo fan? And you commented back, I used to live there. You used to live in that.
Yes.
That's a shock.
And I was like,
I used to say like a funny kind of dirty joke about it, but now that she's married, it's like it's not appropriate. So we'll just leave it at that. But yes, I used to live in Madison.
You used to live in Madison, then you dated a girl named Madison, and one of the most iconic moments in all of Bravo history, I would say.
Oh God.
And we don't have to go back to it. But good news is, during our rapid fire round, we don't have to ask you boxers or briefs, because we already know.
Yeah.
Definitely. Briefs. Couldn't you have just like put on shorts or like a sweatshirt or something before this all happened?
What do you think about things like that? Like, for me, that is the stuff that I think about living in infamy and why I could probably never do a show, because I don't have enough foresight. I don't, like, no part of me can plan far enough ahead.
But don't you think every Bravo Lab has their moment like that?
Yes, of course
Every
they
single
do.
one of them has that moment. And that's fierce.
Well, let me just say this. I think that if you're not, look, and not that I wanted that specific part to come out at any point in time. Like I did not want that to see the light of day. Like, let's just be honest, right? So, you know, that was not me, like, you know, doing my job or, you know, whatever, you know, doing it for Lisa. That was something that I wish that never saw the light of day. But like, if you're going to be on reality television and you don't plan on being completely like vulnerable and transparent, then get the fuck off my show.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to say.
There have been people,
and I truly mean that. And I truly mean that, because I can't stand it when people have like side, you know, boyfriends or something that, you know, they don't film with. And I'm like, that is ridiculous. Like, I have shown every girl that I've dated, which is why you didn't like me for a while there, you know, Miranda, because it was like warts and all. And it was like, I was just trying to navigate, and I was dating, you know, wrong, or just dating. But anyways, like, I showed it at least.
And that's why, Austen, that's why we like you ultimately, you know, and meeting you obviously helped that too. But we know you're a Charlotte boy. Like, we're Charlotte girls, you're a Charlotte boy. So we have the connection of the hometown. We went to all the same schools. We ran somewhat in the same circles, because we're not, you know, we're just old enough that we missed you in high school. But, you know, there's enough overlap there. And you have real shit. Like, real shit in your life. You have had tragedy. You've experienced it. You've watched your parents do the worst thing people would ever go through. Like, and for a sibling to go through, I think. And so we're endeared to you in a million ways. I think it's easy to say, oh, Peter Pan syndrome is real in Charleston, especially on this cast, or, oh, you get around, there's a lot of people. But we also understand that that's your real life, and at least you're showing it. Yeah. And we do appreciate the authenticity about
good.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, because, you know, kind of like you said, I mean, hell, there are so many down or bad, you know, moments, but I think to, like, you know, transition it into now talking about, you know, season 9. And then if you go back to even, you know, season 4 with me, or season 1, you know, with Craig, and like, it's cool to just see, you know, the growth and things that like have happened. And so it's like, I get why people are like, yes, you know, go Craig, right? Because, you know, he was, you know, just like a, you know, whatever, you know, lawyer, and didn't know if he wanted to do it and all these things. And not talking about Craig, but, you know, and to see where he is now, and people are like, yes, Craig, go. And then, you know, for me, like in season 4, and like, even to go back and just look, it's like, we are babies, like babies. And then this season, like, especially, you know, sure, it, like, especially in the trailer, there's like a whole lot of drama and this and that. But like, there is growth that I feel that I'm like lucky to be a part of, like a show like Charm, because they're invested in showing, you know, your life. Yes. And like your growth, and, you know, your friendships and relationships and the misadventures in both of those. And then you trying to grow a business, or failing in a business, or buying a home, and like, that is why that is why when people ask me and they're like, okay, you know, so if you could go back and do it again, you know, would you? And you're like, I mean, Charm really is a place where you get to kind of show, you know, your life. And it's like, I mean, I'll never forget that I asked a producer when I got cast, and I was like, are you guys going to make me look like a douchebag? And he looked at me right in the face, and he goes, well, are you a douchebag? And I was like, bravo, you know? And it's like, we're just going to show, you know, your life, and, you know, like, you're going to say some dumb shit. Well, I just laughed and was like, you know, touche, you know?
Yeah. You're like, depending on the day. No.
No, sure. I mean, yeah. So like, you can't be, you know, buttoned up at all times. Like, you can't, you know, always be watching what, you know, you're saying. Although I do try to watch my words now more, you know, but like, yeah, it's just, it's just an experience.
Do you think that you've had to watch them more as the culture has changed? Whatever way, like, oh gosh, I used to be able to joke about that, but now I can't. Or is some of that, do you always worry about what you're going to say, because just the culture of the world, people, viewers have changed? I feel like, especially last couple of years. It's really tough.
I mean, the simple answer is, yes. But the more kind of detailed answer is that, as, society or culture, changes, like, we change, with it. So it's not that like I'm, hyper focused on it when, we're filming, because it's like I'm changing with how, society changes. So,
because we watch things like The Office, and you can't, like The Office.
I know. Oh my God.
And so I'm kind of thinking, but this is still revered as the best show that's ever been on television. And yet so many people said, well, it couldn't be made today. And so you wonder, like, well, is funny not funny anymore? Or so I was just curious. I think there's
it's funny that you say that, because last night when we got back home from the baseball game, we watched an episode of Greek. I don't know if you remember that, but I used to love the show Greek. And so we watched the very first episode because my sister hadn't seen it. And I was like, oh my gosh, man, I used to want to be best friends, with Cappy and go to Dobblers and drink. And there were about 3 moments in the first, episode where Katie and I, looked at each other with like our jaw dropped, and we were like, you can't say that anymore. Like you can't say that anymore. And like, we both were like, wow, man, when did the show come out? And so, that's true.
It's like, it's just such a precarious position to be in, that you're like, say, be as authentic as you can be, say what you want to say. This makes great TV. And then you're like, can I? Not really. Not really. Like Luann would say. Okay, but about this season.
Okay, and I do have to ask this. So a little teaser came out. This wasn't in the trailer, but a little teaser came out where you met Madison's husband. Was that really the first time you had met him? Was on that moment?
Yes.
Wow.
So the first time that I met Brett was on camera. Brett being Madison's husband. Yeah. So on camera. And I had no idea what to expect, right? Yeah. I had just heard, Madison just talking about how he was, the greatest thing since sliced bread on the reunion. So much so, actually, that Andy was like, okay, we got it. Anyways, moving on, right? And like, we all kind of chuckled. But and so I just didn't know. Like, I didn't know if I was going to show up and this guy was going to try to like, puff up his chest and, try to break my hand, when he shook it or something. Right. And I didn't know. And I was like, in my head, I like when you watch it, it's perceived as this like very kind of awkward scene. And I didn't think that personally, but maybe it was more awkward, than I thought it was. But it goes to show you, with the right music, like you can make anything look like anything, right? And it's like you yes.
Editors, they love their soundboard too, because it's not just the music. They always have
Southern
that
Charm.
Like, hi-hat, like
and Southern Charm
sideways, and then he's kind of looking this way, but you probably weren't even looking at each other. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
100%. And Southern Charm is no stranger to the soundboard. Let's just put it that way, right? And
you had Madison on your podcast. That's right.
Did.
And it went. I thought it went great. I listened to the whole episode.
Yeah. So look, Madison and I have entered just like a new realm and like a new area of our friendship or our relationship. Let's call it. It's just changed, and I think that her and I were in each other's life so much, and of course, you saw so much of like the downs of it, right? And didn't really get an opportunity to see much of the like comforting side of it or whatever. And yes, once we decided to go our own ways and all that stuff, it took me like a year to like truly just like get over it and not be like heightened by hearing like her name or something and things like that. And once that happened, I feel like we began to text again, and like send each other memes was kind of like the first little and then it like that turned into texting and then phone calls, and then so like it kind of became something where it was like, man, like we might have always like have been meant to be friends, because like we are funny together, and she does make me laugh sometimes. She'll always make me roll my eyes, right? Because I'm like,
Yeah.
Shut up. But we have entered a new realm of our relationship, which I think that viewers will think is interesting, right? Because if I was a viewer, I would be like, are we done with this Austen and Madison shit? Right. So it's like this year is completely different in my opinion, except for maybe, this first scene where it's like a little awkward, right? Because like I'm shaking this guy's hand, trying to put the official squash on everything. Like, let's move onwards and upwards.
Is he tall?
I mean, yes, he's not as tall as me.
Not as tall as you.
But all of you Southern Charm boys are tall.
Austen is so tall. 6'4", right? 6'4"?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 6'4".
6'4", 6'5".
Jeff is tall. There's.
I know. I'm sorry, but like I try not to talk about height.
I got it. It should matter.
Every time that I talk about height, people are like, "Oh, he's such a height like elitist or height snob," and I'm like, "I'm just telling you how tall I am. That's it. You asked me a question. It's 6'5". Jeff and I are 6'5". Craig is 6'3", and even Whitney is like pushing 6'3".
Yeah, it's cool.
And so.
So when we went to BravoCon, that's when we first got to meet everybody. I think all the boys. The 2019 one. We were.
Oh my gosh, the OG one.
Oh yeah, we were there.
We were at the OG one. Then we went to last year's BravoCon as well, and we don't have tickets. That we weren't able to get them. We've tried.
Yeah.
Oh no.
We'll see what comes up as we get.
We'll see how this. Yeah. We'll see how this BravoCon goes, y'all.
Now,
we'll
what
see
are
how
you
it
thinking?
goes.
Yeah. How do you feel about Vegas?
Actually, I have to say that Austen is the one who gave me the jump.
Yeah.
Because I said, what's the deal with BravoCon? They hadn't made any official announcements. And you said, well, I did just have a call about it. And you were able to tell me that you were pretty sure it was going to be that weekend in November. And I was like, how much can I commit to this, Austen? I'm going to book some hotel rooms.
Oh, shit.
No,
Bravo would be angry at that. They're like, you're not supposed to tell anybody until we announce it officially.
You didn't. You just said, I feel good that this is probably going to be it. Because I was more asking you if it was surely going to be Vegas versus New York.
Yeah.
And then you were like, no, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Vegas.
That was the rumor.
Yeah. And these were just rumors. And I was
it doesn't matter though, because it's been announced and it's sold out. And it doesn't
matter. And it doesn't matter. And guess what? Austen and I are best friends and he's allowed to tell me things. So whatever.
That's right. I tell my friends things. Okay.
Yes. But what we're saying is we know that you're not given any extra tickets besides like your one buddy pass. Yeah. We don't expect you to give it to us. We understand you're going to reserve that for whichever girl you're with at the moment.
Yes, and her name is Katie Kroll, and she will be getting that pass.
Yeah. They're giving Katie her own ticket. She's been on the show enough. If you get mic'd up, and if you take us along on all the things, and you have to film with Austen, you should get a ticket.
Yeah, I mean, so speaking of that, you'll see. Me and my parents, as you saw in the opening thing of the trailer.
Yeah,
right.
I love seeing.
Was that the opening thing of the trailer?
Yeah.
And
I feel like y'all are such a sweet family. You travel together. You actually genuinely love each other. You love to spend time together.
You can tell.
And I want more of that on my TV.
Yes.
But just like any family, guys, I mean, goodness gracious, do we like to bicker? It is so funny, but we always, come full back circle for more, and that's family. It's like they're biologically wired to love you.
That's right. That's right.
Well,
so they're going to be on the show again. We love that. You're with them right now. Katie's going to BravoCon with you.
No, I'm just with my sister right now, but I was with them. Yeah. Whatever. We're splitting hairs at this point, but yes.
But mom and dad already left. Y'all stayed on for a couple extra days to do the concert and drugs. And then now she's going to BravoCon. You love me. Then you're going to BravoCon. She's going to BravoCon with you. But, you do have my cell, Austen. So if anything comes up about tickets, just know the two of us have been to both. We do not have tickets. We already have our hotel. And so we need to be there. Yeah.
Okay. And would you guys fly to Vegas, even if you just had like a 1 day pass or are you only flying to Vegas if you get like a 3 day pass?
No, we would do it for the 1 day because then maybe we could go to, I know James is doing a club appearance. Like we know that there's other things separate outside of BravoCon that maybe we could hit up at the same time. And Kristen's never been to Vegas.
Can you believe that? Never.
Austen, you just met her. I know she's never been to Vegas.
You know me so well.
I am color me shocked. Color me absolutely. I just, in all the years that I've known you, I just can't believe that you, of all people, wouldn't be going to Vegas.
Thank you for playing along. So she's never been. So part of me wants to show her some of the Vegas roads and go to all the Bravo related stuff. Like Erica Jane has a show now there. Of course, Lisa Vanderpump has all her
right,
stuff.
right. So like it's worth it to go.
Yeah.
See, I have a feeling that a lot of Bravo fans will probably be there regardless, right? Because of all the things that you're saying. Of all the things that you're saying, they're like, we're going to be in the Bravo sphere in some way, shape, or form.
And if you just stand outside, now I know some people who went the last couple of times and they just stood outside the hotels just waiting for y'all to walk in and out of
there. Oh my gosh, that was wild.
Yeah.
Guys.
To get inside the dance some more and just see throngs of people just standing there waiting for you.
Guys, it's like we're Beatles. It's like it's crazy. Well, I mean, it's not crazy. It's awesome. It's wild. Is what I mean. It's wild. It's wild. It's so cool to see. And yes, coming in and out of your hotel, you're just taking pictures, like along the side, and you're just gonna sit back, and laugh at yourself, right? And the cool thing about BravoCon is this, in a nutshell. No one is spending a whole bunch of money to go to BravoCon to say fuck you. Exactly. They are spending money because they love you.
That's right.
They love you. Right. And like the positivity is so awesome surrounding it. And people are like, Austen, I came here to see you. I'm like, oh my gosh, really? And it's like, it's super
Those are
awesome.
your people. Those are your people. We tell people all the time, we're in these private Bravo groups and people go, well, I really want to go to BravoCon. I actually got chosen for a ticket, but I'm alone. I'm like, that's the best place to go if you're a solo person, because everyone there thinks the same as you. Yes. You're all there. I say the same about Comic-Con and Heroes Con, any kind crime conventions. Just know these are your people that you can.
No, seriously.
You already have a level playing field of, hey, we all watch the same stuff. We clearly, and even if you don't have the same favorites on a cast, you love to hate them. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. You still love them. And what's a better place to go and then just celebrate ridiculous reality TV? We know we're not changing the world here, right? We realize that we're not like changing the world with something super serious, but you might be changing someone's world just by saying hi to them and they have access to you at that moment.
My gosh. And well said. And look, man, that's why Craig and I call our listeners, besties, because it's like, they walk up to us and like, if they say that they listen to the podcast, it almost makes us happier than them saying that, they watch the show, and we're like, besties. And so if you're solo and like, you're going to BravoCon and, you're nervous about, like, I'm sure that, you'd run into someone like, y'all, and like, you guys might be like, hey, let's all go here and, get food or something. Right. And if like, excuse me. And if you come up to me or Craig or something, and then you're like, hey guys, like, I'm here alone, but like, it makes me so happy and I'm like, what do you need from me? Like, I'll take a picture with you. Let's call your mom. Like, and that's what you do. That's kind of what BravoCon is. It's like, it is like us, giving back to like, the fans that make it all happen, I guess. Yeah.
Because it's not cheap. I mean, those tickets do you know what they're reselling 3-day VIP for right now on like?
I don't even want to know.
11,000.
Oh my gosh.
$11,000 is what some people are paying for a 3-day ticket. Mm-hmm. It's not us.
I implore people to not spend that. Like, do not spend that. Like you could come to Charleston and like, run into me at a bar. I understand that I'm not, Kathy Hilton, and that, you can't, and that you want to go see
Kathy was great. Kathy was good. She was great. She was in her slippers.
Sure she was.
Was a hoot, and she was great.
Still, that's just like a lot of money, and I don't want anyone to go, man, BravoCon poor. You know what I mean? Like that's not.
Well, it's $11,000 for the ticket. Then you have a couple grand in the hotel, then a couple grand in the air, on the flight and all the food. And then this can become a $20,000 experience for people.
Definitely.
And again, we had the time of our lives. First year, we were general admission 3-day, spent $600, had the time of our lives. Well, plus hotel and stuff, but whatever. And then last time we spent a little bit more than that to bump up to VIP. We were ready to go SVIP this year, but they didn't even offer it.
They got rid of SVIP.
Jeez.
So, but we're not spending 11 grand. We're not, we already have you. So at this point, this is our BravoCon. This is our convention.
No. Let's let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. I am not saying that, that like I can call up Andy, I'm like, hey, Andy, let me get to, but, we certainly have, but we certainly have, people and, kind of like what we were saying with meeting people and, maybe making their day. There was this girl last year who Shep was talking to, and I noticed that he was talking to for like a while. and Shep was like, Austen, come here. And he had tears in his eyes. And I was like, oh no, what? And this girl, her name's Cassie Jo, and she has stage 4 terminal cancer. And it was like her bucket list to come and like, meet us at BravoCon. And, she gave us just like a bracelet and all stuff. And she was just like, I can't believe this, and then Craig and I ended up getting her reservations at Carriage House, our restaurant in the West Village. And we made sure that like a bottle of like, champagne was there, waiting for her. And she was just like, I can't believe that all this. And it's like, it takes nothing. Like something like that just takes nothing. And she'll
remember it.
She'll remember it
forever.
Yeah.
Forever
for as long as she has left, that was such a kind thing that you guys did. And like you said, it was nothing on you. You own the restaurant. You can get her a table. You have money to buy her some champagne. Like she deserve it. Like that's all they
take a couple of minutes to talk to her. And she's like, oh my gosh, do you guys like really want to talk to me? And you're like, yeah, let's chat.
You're probably sick of talking to these other Bravo lebs after a while. God.
And that's what BravoCon is.
It's the best. And we hope that we'll be able to be there again, because honestly, the content we bring is fire. It's fire. Yeah. And our podcasts. So we call our listeners are called PodcATTS because we both love cats. But all that to say is ATTS. So we just put pod in front of it, PodcATTS, and we here's our little logo.
Aren't we so cute?
Yeah.
What's up, all you cool cats and
cats and kittens? And
what's up, all the PodcATTS and kittens?
Yeah, that's actually say it one more time because we're going to use that actually.
What's up, all you PodcATTS and kittens?
There it is.
All right, so we'll give you 10% now for that. So
that's funny. Good.
And then a group of cats is called a clutter, and we're both like disasters when it comes to organizing. So it just makes sense. So we're like, everyone's in our clutter. Everyone can be a mess with us, and we call them our PodcATTS. So,
see, that makes me happy that you guys have figured out your moniker, or whatever you want to call it. Your calling card. Your because Craig and I were like hosting like. We were telling our listeners, we were like, we don't know, like, send it in, and we were like, pillow heads and all this stuff, but like, it has to just come, naturally.
Yes.
And so the bestie thing did kind of come, naturally for us, so now when we're on stage, we're like, what's up, besties? And so if you guys were to ever do like a show, you would be like, come and be in our clutter, which is really funny.
It's really cute, isn't it?
Really clever. So good job, guys.
Well, thank you, Google, because I just said, I was like cats, group of cats. And of course, everyone thinks that they're called a litter, which still makes sense because we're trash.
Yeah.
Like we're just garbage human beings. Yeah. Don't let like how pretty she is confuse you because she is trash.
100%.
Austen, she accidentally threw away. We recorded 3 episodes a couple weeks ago. She accidentally threw the SD card in the trash.
And I had to paw through the trash a day later to find it. Prayed to St. Anthony. He came through. Thank God.
Thank God.
And
found the SD card. But I was like, of course it was in the trash. We're garbage. So litter wouldn't make sense, but clutter is even better.
Yeah.
My gosh, that is amazing.
Well, we're loving this whole podcast thing. So we're gonna stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch out, guys, because we're coming for your bestie brand.
Oh boy. I mean, look, man, that's what Craig and I did too. We had so much fun going on Instagram Live during the pandemic that we were like, let's make a podcast about this. And then we didn't really know what the process was and how long that we should do it for in each episode. And we were like, trying to find time. And then there did come a time when Craig and I were like, we are at a crossroads, and we were like, do we continue on, doing this podcast with a little more like
business surrounding it, like making
and
monetizing and advertising,
and do we have times that we're going to commit to each week to do it and to do it well and to do it right, or are we just gonna kind of let it, go by the wayside. And we decided that we have too much fun doing it. And we were like, let's have some more structure twice a week and let's do the damn thing. And so, I did mine with Craig yesterday. And
we were watching your lines. Y'all were being so goofy.
Yeah, I know.
Like punchy, because that's how we all felt.
Isn't that where the whole Kristen Cavallari thing happened? Was during one of y'all's lives?
I don't remember, but I am literally having dinner with. I'm literally having dinner with her this week. You
are? So do you want to go into that?
Well, one of my questions for you, and maybe this is a good segue.
There's not much to go into. She's just like a good friend who I've kept in touch with. And when I go to Nashville, I make sure to hit up her and Justin because we love to get up and just laugh and be goofy and silly.
You're our connection to Justin Anderson. Okay.
Yeah,
that's right.
One of my best compliments I was ever given in my life is when someone wrote me and said, "Do you follow Justin Anderson? You give me his vibes. Like I follow you the way I follow him. I like listening."
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I see that.
For sure.
I see that. He calls us all lovies and you call, what do you call us all?
Cats
and kittens. Yeah.
But on my personal brand side, I call them peeps. You're my people. You're my peep.
Yeah.
But Justin Anderson, I would die to interview him. I would die dead, kill me. You're the connection. Will you just let him know that I like him?
I will. Of course. Everyone likes to hear that someone is a fan of them. I mean, of course.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, the train.
Here's the train. Sorry, there's a train in the backyard here. So if you hear the choo choo, just
no way. I'm like waiting to see if like your set starts to.
Hold on. Wait. Do you hear that?
Could you catch that?
No.
I hope it picks it up.
Hold on.
I think it's done.
Okay. Well, that's good info for the future. I couldn't hear it.
Well, when we record and people can hear it on the mics when we record, I just tell them to take a drink.
Yeah,
that's kind of like it's Andy's little thing that he does on Watch What Happens Live.
Sure.
When the train comes back.
When the train comes, just take a sip.
Yeah.
Okay. Can we ask you some rapid fire, real quick questions before you have to go to lunch?
Yes. Let's do it.
Carl and Lindsay.
Yeah. So.
Were you shocked?
I am going to say that I am not very close to that situation any longer. And so Lindsay and I are, friends and, we'll communicate. And so when all this happened, I mean, of course I was curious, but I did not reach out because I'm sure that they're going through a million people that are reaching out and press and this and that, and, want to be respectful and give them their space. Okay. And that's what I'll say about it.
Okay, yeah, I didn't realize how close you still were to either one of them, both of them, or you were invited to the wedding. Were you?
We have certainly taken a step back in our friendships, and honestly, I think that was for the best. And it's like because there was a time in my life when Lindsay and I were talking on the phone like every single day, literally besties. And, and she started dating Carl and all this stuff happened. And we crossed, contaminated with shows a little too much and kind of fucked it up a little bit. And, and so when it was just a healthier thing, for all of us to just move on in our own, respective, lives and directions, but keep in touch. So I don't know anything about it though. I don't know anything about it.
But you're not going back. Because you had a relationship with Lindsay, you would never go back to that.
We had a lovely friendship.
Okay.
And
a situation.
I have my own things going on, Miranda. I do not need to get involved in any sort of nonsense.
So that's
not nonsense, but any sort of drama that's not my own.
I need to know. Are you looking for Miss Right? Do you feel like you're actively looking for that woman that you want to settle down with, start a family? I feel like you are a family guy. So are you on the lookout for that?
So I'm going to try to answer, questions and not hit you with the typical, well, you're just going to have to wait and find out. Yeah. But you really are, through all the drama and chaos, there really are some moments and things that I open up about and that I choose to show, the audience that I think is very, very private, therapy. You're literally going to see me in therapy, this season for this exact reason.
Okay.
And the reason is, is like, why do relationships of mine kind of go in the same pattern?
Yeah.
And I do feel that I am supposed to find my person. And I do feel that maybe the women that I found in the past just like, wasn't it. I do want to find that. And like, I do say now, and I'm like, I wonder what that person is going to look like. Like, I wonder what she is going to look like, in every facet. I do. So like, I am dating, and that is not saying that like, I'm not like, really, really searching, but like, but my eyes are open. Let's put it that way. And in the past, for the past year, they haven't been.
Okay.
And I can say that, they are open now.
Good.
Because we did see in your Instagram post that the Kroll name is going to end with you, but you were like, no pressure on me or anything.
I know. I just thought that it was
That's
funny. Yeah. I just thought that was funny.
It was.
And yeah, but it is true. And I just feel like, I like went to the wedding and like, I didn't have a +1. And I'm like, I don't think that I'm supposed to be the guy that shows up to weddings without a +1 for the rest of my life.
Yeah. No, you're not.
No. But I'm a great wedding date and happily married, but I will go.
Yeah.
Okay. I love wedding food. I love to celebrate love. And Colorado is awesome. So, I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay.
What's your favorite place to eat in Charleston?
Oh gosh, there are so many, but there is a comfort spot of mine that, gosh, we go to so often, and sometimes it's like, pathetic how often that I go. But it's called 167 Raw, and it is a sister restaurant to a spot in Nantucket. But then they came down to Charleston and put down roots, and everyone in Charleston who knows about the food scene knows about 167 Raw. And sometimes you go and it's like a 2-hour wait, but they're very kind to me and they try to get me. So it is.
Okay.
Okay. We need to try to go there next time.
Yeah. Sorry. Was that like a humble brag?
So if you go with Austin, you can get sat ahead of everybody else.
Okay.
PodcATTS. But that's okay. That's okay. There's got to be some perks here. You know what we're saying? Like, if you're going to expose it all, there's got to be some perks.
And like, I think that I've paid for like months and months of their rent too. So like, yes. I mean, come on.
Exactly. No, we have a favorite place we go to every Friday night, and if there's a very long line and they see us coming, they will let us.
There you go. Yeah.
And I'm just me, so I get it.
Do you ever see yourself coming back to Charlotte?
You know what? This is a wonderful question that I find myself thinking about more and more. Now, I grew up always being like, I want to get as far away from Charlotte, right? Because I grew up there and I just had this sense of, wonderment and, I want to go, which is why I didn't apply to one school that was in state. I mean, which by the way, I'm very lucky that I was able to do that and that my parents were, willing to send me to the college that I wanted to go to. I understand that everyone can't do that, but
yeah.
Then I've gone here, there, boom, boom, boom. And now when I go back to visit Charlotte, I just feel this like such a sense of like connection to Charlotte, and it has grown so much. It's so cool. Yeah. There are so many just like young working, professionals. I'm obsessed with the Carolina Panthers, even though that they suck. It doesn't matter, It
doesn't matter.
I mean, I love them anyways.
We're in a rebuilding year.
Right.
That's what we always have to say. We're in a rebuilding year. We just need a quarterback, like it's just been so long when then Christian got traded, and I'm a huge sports nerd.
Yes.
I feel
you. And now there's like an MLS team, and like, I mean, look, I don't love the Hornets, but if they ever were to make the playoffs, I'd be the biggest.
You're going to be in a suite
right.
there cheering.
Yes,
I know that.
Austin, the first time I met you was at a Hornets game. I have a picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
And congrats on sitting on the throne at Charlotte FC.
Yes.
Huge. Yes.
And so I love Charlotte, and Charlotte loves me,
yeah.
I think. And so I think that I will always have a place in Charleston because it's a place that I've been going to, for 30 years now in my life, or plus, and that I've lived in now for 10 years. But I just feel like raising like a family in Charlotte is such a good place that I could see myself potentially raising a family in Charlotte.
We agree with that wholeheartedly.
We'll see, though.
We both have We're both natives. We've both raised our families
Yeah.
here, and I have a senior now, but I have two high schoolers. So my time
Okay.
is,
I have a question for you guys
yeah,
because Craig always is telling me that I'm not from Charlotte. And that's true. I'm not a native.
okay.
I moved to Charlotte from DC when I was 7.
Oh, it's fine. You grew up in Charlotte. Yeah.
Right. And so when someone asks me where I'm from, I say that I'm from Charlotte. Always,
Yeah,
without question.
you are from Charlotte.
Yeah.
That's where you spent the majority of your school age
Yeah.
years is in Charlotte.
Yeah.
I
And
struggle
Craig
with this
loves
too.
to.
Well, Craig can suck a D. Here, I struggle with this too because I was conceived in Charlotte, like literally off South Boulevard. I know I was
Yep.
conceived in Charlotte. And then my mom's company moved her to Kansas right before I was born. So I was born in Kansas, but then they moved right back here. I've never gone to school anywhere other than Charlotte, except
Okay.
for
Yeah.
years.
Yep.
And so sometimes people want to get a little bit even technical with me on that. And I'm like, I'm still a native. This is where I'm from.
Yeah.
I know nothing other than Charlotte. And if you're conceived off South Boulevard, you're a native, and that's the end of the story there.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So
we're allowing you to say you are from Charlotte. You are from Charlotte. You
First-
are Charlottean.
first through graduation was Charlotte.
Yes.
Yes.
You're a Charlotte boy, period. I don't want to hear
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Craig,
Done.
Craig,
Moving on.
Craig.
Okay, next
Forget
one.
it.
Oh, do we want to ask him about Taylor?
Ooh. I mean, you had to have known this question was coming.
Sure.
Okay.
I can tell you what you
I-
told me at the tent at the Trop Hop event, if you don't remember.
Can she?
Well, let's not divulge private information
Okay.
if
we
I
won't
did
say.
to you because
Okay. I don't think it was, but I want to hear what you say. What was the situationship with you and Taylor besides just watch what happens? Is there anything that you can share with the podcast
sure.
that would give them a little something ahead of the season opener?
Yeah, so something ahead of the season, right? Because probably come episode 3 or 4, I don't know when the whole kind of like when the whole thing is revealed. It's probably episode 3 if I had to guess. And then I'll be able to open up more about it and do some more press and all those things. But what I will say is that following our reunion last year, Taylor and I were comforting each other because Taylor was obviously very hurt and mad at Shep, and Olivia was not the biggest fan of mine. And I didn't see it at the time, which we're going to dive into more in the season. And I didn't see it at the time and why she was mad at me and, and all these things. And so Taylor and I were kind of there for each other to comfort each other. And you get close to somebody, which we were close prior to that. And, feelings get, confusing and things like that. And so it's you're really just going to see it kind of play out. You're not going to see it, play out, but you're going to see the aftermath of that, play out. And it's just just a confusing and thing to, have to navigate, friendships and past, relationships. And it's all just happening in real time. Yeah. And we're trying to all figure it out, and people are trying to figure out how they feel about, certain things. And it's just so raw and real. I haven't been a part of something that is this emotionally raw since I've been on TV. I don't think so.
It did seem like you and Taylor were genuinely friends. You cared about her. Even when Shep was cruel to her and the way he would speak to her, you always seemed to have kind of you felt like a brother, at least to me watching, that you genuinely cared about her. And that problem with the way Shep spoke to her, you defended her instead of him. And I loved to see that. So to me, Shep and Taylor's relationship was always a little confusing to me. And maybe even I could have seen you and Taylor together. You guys seem to actually have much more similar caring personalities, I feel like.
So I'm not gonna, I'm not saying that, what, specifically happened, but, people think that, lines, are crossed kind of thing. So it's I don't know, or I'm not going to say, what happened between us, but I can't lie and say that both Taylor and I, and Olivia too, didn't see what the internet was writing constantly about, me and Taylor, just you two, deserve to be together. And Austen, that, you love her and all these things. And whether it was true or not, I'm just saying that it was like, I mean, I definitely saw it. And so did Taylor. And I think that there just was like a moment where we were like,
yeah.
And that's the teaser.
Okay. Planted a little seed.
Okay.
Do you see, I know Catherine's not on the show this season.
Mm-hmm.
Is she still in any of y'all's lives at all? Do you see her at all out and about, or?
I have grown to become friends with Catherine and, over the past, few years. And when I heard that she wasn't coming back, I was a bit shocked, but then I spoke to her and she basically made it seem that it was for the best right now.
Okay.
And so when I heard that made me happy, right? Because it was like, you know what? Like, maybe you're right. It's like some things, you don't want to be splashed all over TV. And like, you're dealing with like some really, real shit. And it's like, so who's to say if, she doesn't come back, season 10 or, beyond. I mean, I am in no way, shape or form, I mean, they haven't even told us about that, right? Because our show hasn't even come on. So I'm just saying that Catherine, could, and then she could come back as just like a totally like, woo-sawed woman. And I would love nothing more than to see that. Just like, I mean, we all know that,
happen on Bravo before. We've seen when they're housewives and other shows, people leave, they come back, they're stronger than ever.
We love it.
Yeah. And so that's what I think that if you asked, me or Shep or Craig, that like we all, would say that, like, man, wouldn't that be awesome if she had like a re-entrance and was just like, I'm a changed woman, y'all. Y'all can't beat me down or anything,
Because they were replaying old Southern Charm the other night while we were in Orlando just yesterday. We were there for Halloween Horror Nights, and so we had Bravo on, and they were showing the episode with Ashley, Thomas, and Catherine outside of that big gala in the red dress, and I was just thinking, oh my God.
Ashley was such a good TV villain. Ooh. Wow.
I mean, and like, you think about it, especially in season 9, it's like I'm going away on trips and going to dinner parties with, a couple of exes of mine now, but that is ex, girlfriends. That's not, wives or people that like I share children with or bank accounts or, lawyer fees and all this shit. It's just like girls that, I used to date. So like the difference there is like,
huge.
Night and day. Yes.
Huge. Oh yeah. I've always had a soft spot for Catherine. I've always had a soft, and she's.
I think that a lot of people have.
Well, she came into it so young.
Yeah.
True.
Did you want to ask him before he has to go the thing about Vanita?
Oh yeah. Did you see that thing that Vanita said the other day about your beer? What was all that about?
I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't see what she said.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. It was her and I want to say Ashley Darby being interviewed by someone, and they were like at a live event or something. I don't know. Vanita said something about the can, the logo, the artwork, something, and kind of called it a fake brand is the vibe that it was giving. And I was mostly stunned because I'm like, I have poured his beer many times out of the can. And I can tell you it's 100% a legitimate brand. I know Harris Teeter who carries it. Like I was just I thought of all the things you're coming at him for.
Right.
So
I mean,
like, so are you in a good place?
Are y'all beefing? What's happening?
I mean, no, I like
beefing.
I mean,
I'm 42.
Right. I'm not, throwing, stones or fucking anything like that. Right. Because like I have, my own thing going on this year. I have no idea what she has, going on in this season, which like is to say, like, I don't think that she has, anything going on. Like
I picked up exactly
she's, so like, she's just kind of, I mean, it's strange for her to say that because like, what is her brand? Like what does she do? She just like tries on clothes and, shouts out people. I'm not entirely, certain why she would try to like, randomly throw shade, but like, I like to hear that. Right. because then I know exactly what little box to put that person in. Like, okay, I'm going to put you over here, and you get like a side hug from me, and moving on.
We've said even with us starting this, we have made a mental list of the people that have been writing for us since day one and have been supportive and care. And we also have the box of people that we know are shady, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So. And so exactly same thing. When we see you, we know to.
Look. And like, I feel that, like you have to like learn from past, things, right? So it's like, everyone out there probably knows like Madison and I at one point couldn't help but like, throw shade at each other on the internet, and people were like, they're never going to stop. But it's like, no, you just have to make the conscious kind of decision. You're like, I'm not going to, react to this. So, I mean, tell me what her brand is, and we'll talk from there.
Now we said it.
So let's talk about your brands. But you have Trop Pop, like all the things that people, where they can find you, how they can support you. Obviously, you are the big fish. We are the tiny, but still, like people don't know everything.
No, man, I love it.
They can't possibly know everything. So what you got going on? You have Pillows and Beer, as we know, anywhere people can find podcasts.
Yep, anywhere that people can find podcasts. Craig and I are on Pillows and Beer twice a week. We're going to announce a tour here coming up soon where we think that we have like, 8 or 9 cities that we're pretty excited for.
Charlotte going to be one of them?
The Live Nation's dragging their feet. I'm Charlotte. I don't know if Charlotte is one of them.
That's a mistake, Austen.
It should be.
It should be.
Yeah.
Well, last time that we went on tour, we did come to Charlotte. We went to Blumenthal, or to Night Theater, at Blumenthal Performing Arts.
Yeah.
Let's see. Craig and I are investors in the restaurant in the West Village of Manhattan. It's called Carriage House. Yes. Go and eat there. I have something exciting coming up that I'm not going to tell you or announce yet, but in Charleston, that I'm very excited about. Coming up in the future. So it's just like, I feel like there are so many different things that I'm trying to get myself like involved in and to onwards and upwards, but diversify. Absolutely.
Because the show is still the mercy of someone else, right? And so it could disappear in an instant.
Yeah.
And you just never know. And so you have to be making smart money decisions, good investments, and you got to ride the wave while you're on it, right? Yeah. So while you have the publicity and the social media and everything, you have to capitalize. And we don't know why any other Bravo Labs don't do more of that. That it just seems like, why wouldn't you? So I think it's great.
Yeah. I mean, I think it takes you like a little bit of time to figure out what it is that you want to, because in the last thing that I wanted to do, especially, Trop Pop, was just to like white label, some brand on there and be like, drink Austin's Southern Charm beer, right? It was like you have to show the audience and yourself, by the way, that like this is your passion, right? Craig was into sewing, so he began like a business from it, and people saw it, right? And they saw that projection. Right. And it's like I was working for a beer brand out of Atlanta in my first season, and then I decided, I was like, it's time to go for it. And so people are like, oh, cool, this is real, right? So if they think that your brand is like really you, really that authentic to you, I think is when people respond to it.
And now you're gonna have your wellness brand coming out with
all of your wellness products that we're getting 10% of. So we gave you the idea for it, and I think you call it authentically.
Yeah, I like
authentically healthy or
sure.
Well, ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that.
We'll workshop that.
We'll put a pin in it, as Andy always says. We'll put a pin in it.
Okay. Oh my gosh, yeah, he does say that.
Doesn't he always say that? So
yes. Okay, we'll put a pin in that, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, and we'll be right back. WatchWhatHappensLive.com for the poll. Don't forget to vote in the poll. Well, Austen, is there anything else? I know that we didn't get through most of it, but I like this better anyway.
Yeah. No, this is great. I feel like you've given
all right, guys. Yeah. Well, the final thing, that I'll say is obviously our show's coming out this week. And when you film something kind of like I said, that is like a raw and big, just like emotional, season. I mean, I'm sitting here, I've been workshopping the caption that I'm going to write for, premiere night, right? Like I'm gonna, post about, the ups and downs that have happened. And it's just one of those things where I hope, obviously that it's entertaining, but I know that it will be, but that people can, relate to like things that are happening and can really just like, it's just one of those things where like your most vulnerable moments are caught on camera, and like, you have to just, react in the moment and not lose, your cool and head. And I don't know. I just hope that people that watch can, relate to all of the things that not only me, but a lot of people in the show have going on, this year. It's truly a big one.
Who will you be with when you watch the premiere?
I'm going to be in Nashville, so I'm just going to be with myself.
Okay.
But a friend is Best of Bravo, and she's having a premiere party, Maggie.
Yeah.
And she's having a premiere party. And since I was flying back, east from Denver, I reached out to her like a month ago, when I saw it, and I was like, hey, I'm literally going to be coming back that day. Like, well, what if I just came in? She's like, that'd be awesome.
And which is why all of her premiere party. So does her premiere party know you're coming?
I think that yesterday we decided, I told her, I was like, look, at first it was going to be a surprise, and maybe like, day of, I was just going to say something. And then I was like, you can blast it out there if you want, so that I think that today she mentioned that I was coming. And then that's why I'm going to see, Justin and Kristen, because I'm going to be in Nashville. So
okay, got it.
Are they coming to that party too?
I don't think so. Justin might,
I'm this close to going to Nashville Thursday, so I'm this close. I will do a jump attack. And
yeah. I don't want to speak for Justin, but like, Justin loves that kind of stuff. And, probably, smartly so, man. Kristen, doesn't want to end up on any like, oh my gosh, guess who walked in tonight, and it's like Austen and Kristen, and they are, and it's like, stop it. And like, that is like a back.
That's one of the drawbacks of this.
Yes. And that's one of the drawbacks. And I'm like, oh man, and Kristen is, considerably more, famous than me. And when and so I'm like, get it. She didn't, no. Dude, not even a question. I
would say if we're ranking, yes.
But I feel like timing.
And so, anyways, Thursday, I'll be in Nashville. It'll be a lot of fun.
Thursday, Nashville. That will be fun. I might see you there. Thank you for inviting me. And there was one part in the trailer where you're sitting on the ground crying, and it almost looks like you could be having a panic attack.
Yeah.
And I want to hug you. Like I want to crawl through my screen and give you a hug. And I know that showing up every time on camera and doing that sort of stuff is probably extremely tough. And we appreciate it as fans. We appreciate it as now best friends of yours. And who deeply care about you, that you continue to do that. And he's the number one guy in the group.
You're the number one. It's happened. I can't believe it.
We're ending it how we started it.
That's very sweet of you guys.
I know you're probably starving and want to get to lunch, so we're going to let you go, but we thank you for your time, Austen. And anytime you need to pour your beer in tiny cups and hand it to people, I'm there, and now Kristen is.
Me too.
Thank you very much, y'all. I'm glad that we could make it work. Glad we could do it, before the premiere.
Yeah.
And thank you for having me. Until next time.
Thanks for being a podcat.
Yay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.